New national anthem is not an achievement, but it's more or less a celebration of mediocrity. Good morning, V, and good to have you here with me this morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here too.
Yeah, and good morning to our viewers, and welcome to the Way Forward Nigeria. So today I have V here with me, and she'll be asking me some very difficult questions.
Okay. So, Anthony, what do you think about the new Nigerian National Anthem?
I think it's very irrelevant. If you compare it to the Nigeria of today, it's completely unnecessary. And the fact that the National Assembly and the presidency are making a lot of noise about it, it shows how insensitive this administration has been moving forward. And I must say, the whole new national anthem, it does not in any way speak to national unity, peace, or hope, but rather it speaks volumes to the abysmal caliber of the individuals we have at the National Assembly. We expecting them to start talking about constitutional reforms, electoral reforms, and even due diligence to budgets when it gets to them, which they have not been doing. So for me, the 10th Assembly has really been a jamboree for them. They're yet to get to work. And that's why I'm pleading today with the Speaker and the Senate President to please, my fathers, it's time to get to work. It's almost 11 months plus, and Nigerians are yet to see the output from this National Assembly. And I also want to tell the President and the leaders of the National Assembly that this whole new national anthem is not an achievement, but it's more or less a celebration of mediocrity. In my own honest opinion, I think these are just a crop of elderly people who for the past years must have had problem reciting the new national anthem. And now they decided to go back to the old ways and recite the national anthem that they crammed in primary and secondary schools, and reminisce on their old days, on the good old days. So it's completely of no consequence and irrelevant in Nigeria of today. That's what I think about.
My second question is 25 years of democracy. What's your take?
For me, I've seen 25 years, but I'm yet to see any democracy. So for me, Nigeria we've only achieved 0 years or 0 days of democracy since 1999. I know this is our 4th republic, but for me, what we practice in Nigeria currently has nothing to do with democracy. The governance system we have is more like a military regime or an autocratic form of leadership covered up in a very thin film of envelope called democracy. But the real substance is more of a military regime. So for me, I don't see any years of democracy. And that is because the basis to have a democracy, we've achieved nothing yet. And one of the very popular definitions of democracy by Abraham Lincoln, which we all know, is government of the people, for the people and by the people. But what we practice in Nigeria is not of Nigerians. This government is not for Nigerians because, as we can see clearly, our leaders are not working for us, definitely. And it's not by Nigerians because we know that more than 90% of our elected leaders, we are not really elected by the people. These are people who, and this is my opinion, who were handpicked by INEC and the courts, buttressed the whole thing. But there is no, the barest minimum expectations of a democratic governance system. We're yet to achieve that. So when I look at the Nigerian system, I don't see any form of democracy.
Thank you again for your answer to my second question. And my third question is, it's been about a year since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's inauguration. How or what do you think about his performance so far?
That's a very good question. And, the citizens of a nation should be able to evaluate the performance of their leaders. But for me, it's a tricky question because if you listen to my last answer, I think Nigeria is not really practicing a proper democracy. It's more like a mixture of democratic leadership and autocratic leadership. So I don't know how to really judge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because I do not see him as a democratic president. And that's my opinion. Because if I want to judge him as a military head of state, I'm going to be judging him based on the performance of maybe Abacha, IBB, our past military leaders. And if that's the way, and if that is the case, then he has overperformed. Because at least in Nigeria, and we still have a court system that kind of works, and people are still able to express themselves. But we cannot just expect him to deliver dividends of democracy, because what we have in Nigeria is not necessarily a democratic system of governance. So it's a very difficult question and a tricky one until Nigerians are able to ensure that what we have in Nigeria is democracy, then we can properly evaluate and expect dividends of democracy from our leaders, from our presidents. So, and that's why, he's just doing what he can do with the system of government that we have currently.
Thank you for your opinion, your intelligent opinion. I think my last question would be, what do you think is the way forward? How do you think we can move Nigeria forward from here?
I really wish I had the right answer to this question, because there's no one correct answer to this question. This nation, Nigeria, is a hydra-headed nation with tons of problems, and it's almost difficult to have the right answer on how to move this nation forward. But if what we are aiming for is democracy, then Nigerians need to be able to take back their nation. So I'm going to pick this from what the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party during the last election said, and he said, if you allow anything, if you can accept anything, then everything will happen to you. So we have a nation where the people of Nigeria, we now accept anything. And that's why everything is happening to us. And it's time for us to put a stop to that. Because as I said, if our aim is democracy, then we have to be up and doing and putting some level of effort. Because if you look at it, democracy does not just come for free. There must be some energy, some effort, some input we need to make to be able to get a result. And if you look at it, the 1999, this fourth republic that we have right now, Nigerians, we did almost nothing to get it. Abacha's death in 1998, I don't think we the people of Nigeria contributed to that. And the fact that Abdulsalam Abubakar decided out of the goodwill of his heart to make sure he transitions power in less than a year, we did not really do much about it. So, Nigerians, we've not really fought for what we needed. And we've become so relaxed. And that's why, whatever the government or leaders throw at us, we just absorb it. So we have not yet deserved to reap the dividends of democracy. So for us to move forward, it's time for the people to stand up and take back their country. Think about it. We have a presidential system. We have a government system where the president or the governor controls the judiciary and the National Assembly or the State House of Assembly. So no one can check the powers of the president or the governors. So it becomes almost impossible to move forward in that manner. We need National Assembly to do a reform on the Electoral Act. But that is going to work against them. So they're never going to do it. We need a judiciary that will be able to not misinterpret the English language and twist it to suit a party leader. But they are not going to do it, because the judiciary is paid, they are protected, and they are promoted by the executive. So they are handicapped, and we should not expect them to do a whole lot if we, the people, is not going to rise and defend our country. And also, so the whole hope of by 2027 we are going to come together again and vote is completely a hoax, because it's never going to work. INEC still listens. INEC is being appointed by the president. So the INEC chairman is only going to do the dictates of the president. And the court is in his pocket. So whatever the INEC chairman announces, they told us to go to court again. And by the time we go to court, the judicial system, they will still twist the whole thing. So in summary, all I'm trying to say is that for us to really move forward in this nation, Nigerians need to be up and doing. We need to have that determination to take back our country, not by violence, but by ensuring that all those we send to the National Assembly, that they will enact the right laws that will protect our electoral system. And if they don't, we have the right to recall them and replace them with different individuals. So if since they are now in the National Assembly and they decide to be puppets in the House of the Executive, we're going to call them back and put back people there who will not be puppets to the executive. And until we, the people, decide to stand up for our rights, let's just forget about 2027. It's going to be the very same thing that happened in 2023. So for me, it's more like a wake-up call for Nigerians to get up and earn the democracy that we think we already have, but we don't, so that we can start reaping the dividends of democracy.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony. I think you made some very strong points. But all in all, thank you for sharing your thoughts and what you think about Nigeria so far. I hope Nigerians, or I hope things get better going forward.
Thank you very much, V, for coming here, and I hope we keep this conversation going, and I hope you make out time to come around again and ask me some of these your very hard questions. And I just hope that moving forward, we'll be able to get it right come 2027 in this nation. And God bless you and God bless Nigeria.